Hey, how everybody doing? This is your boy, Minister Mike A. Cooney Sr. And this teaching here, I'm going to be teaching about the gifts of the body. Now, this here is a serious topic that I noticed that a lot of people have misconstrued. And they don't really fully have a understanding of what's really going on with this. Now, with that in mind, I'll be teaching out of 1 Corinthians chapter 12, starting at verse 1. Now, before I get into the word, I just want to say that in the church, we have to understand and be led by God to understand where we belong within inside of the body. You see what I'm saying? Because I noticed that it's a lot of people that's pastors when really they supposed to be drummer boys. I see a lot of people that's drummer boys that's supposed to be up prophesying. I see people that's prophesying that's supposed to be evangelizing. And you got your players all mixed up. You got your players in the wrong places. And that's another reason why we're not as effective as we should be as true followers of Christ. But as we get into this thing expeditiously, go to 1 Corinthians 12, verse 1. And I'll read it. Now this here is a letter from Paul, and it reads thusly. Now concerning the spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as you were led. We were led off, carried off to follow these dumb idols, to believe in these dumb idols, to believe in these fake, false holidays, pageantry. All right. Check out what he says in 3. Wherefore, I give you to understand that no man speaking by the Spirit of God calleth Jesus accursed, and that no man can say that Jesus is Lord but by the Holy Ghost. Now what Paul here is saying is, you can't even say Jesus is Lord unless you have the Holy Ghost. So therefore, people that say, oh, you need to be saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost, stop it. Stop it. Because if you read Jeremiah 1, it says, before I formed you in the belly, I knew you, ordained you, and sanctified you. Before you was even born. So therefore, before we even went through the birth canal and was even conceived and all that kind of stuff, before we took our first breath on earth, we was filled with the Holy Ghost. All right. 4. Now there are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit. And there are differences of administrations, but the same Lord. And there are diversities of operations, but it is the same God which worketh all in all. But the manifestation of the Spirit is given to every man to profit withal. 8. For to one is given the Spirit the word of wisdom, to another the word of knowledge, by the same Spirit. To another faith, by the same Spirit. To another the gifts of healing, by the same Spirit. To another the working of miracles. To another prophecy. To another discerning of spirits. To another diverses kinds of tongues. To another interpretation of tongues. But all these worketh that one, I'm going to go back. But all these worketh that one and the selfsame Spirit, dividing to every man severally as he will. For the body is one, and hath many members, and all the members of one body, being many, are one body, so also is Christ. For by one Spirit are we all baptized into one body, whether we be Jews or Gentiles, whether we be bound or free, or have all made to drink into one spirit. I'm at 14. For the body is not one member, but many. Now check this out in 15, what he says here. If the foot shall say, because I am not the hand, I am not of the body, is it therefore not of the body? And if the ear shall say, because I am not the eye, I am not of the body, is it therefore not of the body? 17. If the whole body were an eye, where were the hearing? If the whole body were hearing, where were the smelling? But now hath God set the members, every one of them, in the body, as it hath pleased him, as it hath pleased God. God puts people where he wants them to be. We don't put ourselves where we want to be. God puts us where he wants us to be. That way we could be effective. Not getting up in front of the church people, screaming, hollering, and ain't doing nothing. We find ourselves, I'm a bishop. And really, you ain't got a bishop idea. You call yourself a prophet, but every prophecy you shoot out there at people is not accurate, and it don't come to pass because you're not a prophet. And that's something that we really need to look within inside of ourselves and within inside of our congregations and within inside of Christianity as a whole. Are we where God would have us to be, or are we where we want to be, or are we where another man told us to be? Now, if you look at this thing as a ball game, why would a center in basketball, why would the center be acting as the power forward? And why would the power forward be as the center? You got a defective team. Somebody's not playing their position. And we are led